It's a great day in South Carolina. Woo-hoo! The Waccamaw Regional Council of Governments is located in Georgetown, South Carolina. We provide different services through the Aging Network, and I'll just give you a brief rundown of some of those services. We have a family caregiver advocate, Ms. Valerie Gonzalez. She helps family members who are caring for other family members in an unpaid position. She helps them with the Respite program, where she can give them some funds to help pay for somebody to come into the house and give them a break so they don't go crazy while they're caring for their loved one. They also have some other things those funds can be used for. She has a grandparents taking care of grandchildren program. And that's a reality nowadays for a lot of our seniors. They find themselves raising their grandchildren. So this program will help, funds will help pay for some different things for those grandchildren so they don't feel left out. And it helps take some of the financial burden off of the grandparents to care for them. She has support groups as well for family members, and I would love to see you or anyone that you want to refer to any of her support groups. She has those in all 3 counties, and they're at the office. Next, we have a Medicare specialist, Ms. Samantha McClary. Right now, you probably all know, if you watch TV or even if you drive around and you see the signs tacked up everywhere, it's open enrollment, right? So now's the time to find out what's out there, what plans are out there, which one might meet your needs, what might help you pay for those prescriptions, lower some of your costs, and just to make an informed decision. So you can call and speak with Ms. Samantha McClary. Then we have ombudsmen. We have 2 ombudsmen, and if you did not know it, they can arrest you. Just saying. That's always impressed me about them. So if they're in a nursing home and they're seeing something going on there, that lady right there on the spot can make a citizen's arrest. So if you know anyone who's having an issue with a loved one in a nursing home, please call us. Miss Tasha Stackhouse would love to go and investigate it. We also have a long-term care ombudsman. This is a new position where she monitors the long-term care facilities and people providing long-term care. And she can arrest you too. So, and right now they're recruiting volunteers to go into the senior home, nursing homes and be another set of eyes. They're called friendly visitors. So if you have time on your hands and you want something to do, why don't you consider being a friendly visitor at the nursing homes through that program. We also, through each county has an aging office. In Horry County, it's the Council on Aging. Georgetown, it's the Bureau on Aging. And in Williamsburg County, it is Vital Aging. So they run the things for seniors, like home delivered meals, homemaker services, group dining at the senior centers, transportation to and from the senior centers, activities at the senior centers, socialization just to get you out, bus trips, things like that. We have a program coordinator, Mr. Justin Bloomdahl. He kind of oversees those and makes sure that the food that they're serving is in the guidelines, the activities are in the guidelines, and that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing for our seniors, because that's what it's all about. Myself, I'm information referral and assistance, so I'm get a lot of calls that come to me from 211. People call 211. They need a resource in our area. They end up on my phone, and I don't mind trying to help them. We try to have the no wrong door approach. So even if you're not an aging person, if I can give you a referral, I certainly will take the time to try to help you out. We also advocate for seniors. I've gone to apartment complexes. I've gone to homeowners associations. I've had people come into my office so I can make formal complaints because somebody's trying to take advantage of them as a senior just because they don't have a knowledge base of what's happening is wrong. And so we do advocate for seniors as well, like that. So overall, the bottom line is we're here to serve the seniors in Horry, Georgetown, Williamsburg County, and I just serve a senior anywhere. I don't care if you need some help. If I can help you, I'll try to help you, or if I can't, I'll try to refer you in the right direction to someone who can. And if I have to tell you I'm so sorry the service just is not available, I'll do that too, because sometimes it's just not available. We have a resource guide. If you're not in our guide, please give me your business card. It's free advertisement for you. It's published twice a year. It goes to all the libraries, all the senior centers, chambers of commerces, and other places out in the community. And that's my spiel. Have a good day.
All right, so that would make AHI would be next. Terry Stevens.
That is correct. Hi, my name is Terry Stevens. My dad and I have, Stan Stevens and I have an insurance agency in Conway. We work primarily with people who are on Medicare, people who are aging into Medicare, or people who are on Medicare looking at other plans. As she mentioned before, this is the annual enrollment period. Just so we're on the up and up and we understand, if you're not aging into Medicare, this probably doesn't mean a lot to you, but if you are on Medicare now or plan on being on Medicare, this enrollment period that's going on right now from October 15th through December 7th has to do with prescription drug plans through Medicare, and then if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, which is a replacement policy. So those are the two, and the reason people don't know that, they think they have to change all of their plans during this time, but fortunately for you, these are the only two things that you're on a deadline, and it's a very tight deadline. It's basically the way it works is that October 15th to December 7th, you can change your plan. You can enroll through on Medicare.gov's website, or you can go to an agency like ours. One of the things that we pride ourselves on is mostly and mainly education. We aren't going to sell anything to you. What we're going to do is provide you a service. We're going to give you advisory. We're going to be in an advisory capacity. And at that point, what we end up doing is giving you the rocks in the road, making sure you understand exactly what Medicare does, what it doesn't do, and making sure that when you make that decision, when you leave our office after that meeting, that you feel comfortable, that you've made a solid, good decision. So one of the things that we do is we do teach a class through the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, which is the OLLI program. It's an extension of CCU or Coastal. It's a 3-part series class. We really encourage people, even if you're already on Medicare, it's still a really good class to take. It is a free course. It's a 3-part series course. It's 2-hour sessions, but we go through everything that can possibly be about Medicare. And one of the things that we try and do is in the first class, it's all about Medicare and how it works and how it operates. Then the second class is about supplements and how they operate with Medicare. And the third class is about Medicare Advantage plans, those replacement policies, and we go in depth about Part D prescription drug plans. This is really, really important because there's 28 Part D prescription drug plans in our state. That doesn't mean that all 28 will fit you. The best thing you can do is do the research. That's one of the things that we do to make sure you're on the right plan, that you're going forward, and that your prescription drugs don't cost you any more than they should. And that's a really important factor because a lot of people who have Medicare aren't really worried too much about the Medicare side, but their prescription drugs are costing them a fortune. And that's super important that you understand the difference between what Medicare does and what a supplement does, but also what Medicare provides you on the preventive side. Understand what Medicare actually does for you. So the first class is all about Medicare and how it works. And then what we just basically do is give you the idea of we don't want you to know what Medicare pays. We want you to understand what Medicare doesn't pay, because that's what gets you in trouble, is not knowing what it does. So those classes are super important. If you know someone who's aging into Medicare, or maybe they're already on Medicare, right? But they want to know a little bit more. It's an open forum class, and we absolutely encourage you to ask questions. And again, it's very cliche, but there's no dumb question, right? There's just, you asking the question is, it's most important if you ask the question, because if we have the answer for it, it might clarify something for you going forward. So just keep in mind that this annual enrollment period that we're right smack dab in the middle of right now has to do with prescription drug plans, and if you have an HMO or a PPO through a Medicare plan. Okay, any questions for me? Okay, so our agency, that's all we do, is we work with people on Medicare or people aging into Medicare. If you know someone who's disabled, they can also look at a Medicare policy. If they're on Social Security disability, they have an opportunity to look at a policy as well. There's policies out there, there's coverages out there that will cover them primarily. We also have a chronic special needs policy, which actually helps people with diabetes, chronic diabetes and heart failure. We actually help them as well. We at least give you the ideas of how the plans work so that you can make a decision based on the information that we give you on an advisory capacity to make sure that you understand exactly what you have. And also, we also encourage you, once you have our services or you use us for whatever reason, whatever you're coming into us for, is that you always feel comfortable to call us if you have questions. Because again, there's no such thing as a dumb question, because everybody wants to know what they need to know, and everybody doesn't fit in the same box. So everybody's scenario, everybody's life issues, everybody's health issues are different. So that's it. Thank you. Sorry I talked so fast.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Cecil Uppers. I'm an alcoholic. What that says is I'm suffering from a chronic and terminal disease that wants to kill me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even at this very moment. And the prescribed treatment for that disease today and now is for me being here. Alcoholics Anonymous is, I am in long-term recovery. I've been sober for a significant period. And I'm also the CPC chairman for District 81, which is from Little River to Georgetown. And I'm also the PICPC chairman for Grand Strand Interview. And I hold 3 other positions too. So I do a little something in AA. I know a little bit about it. AA was founded June 10th, 1935 in Akron, Ohio. And it's the most substantial and widely AMA approved treatment for alcoholism. And at this present time, there's about 2.3 million Americans members of Alcoholics Anonymous, and there are about 6 million members visiting AA meetings every day. And alcoholism affects directly the lives of 23 million Americans. Indirectly and directly, it affects the lives of 47 million Americans. It has far-reaching terms. We serve by having meetings. I have meeting list on my table. We have 53 meetings a week at 67th Avenue at the Eleanor Club. We have 72 meetings a week from Georgetown to Calabash. And you can look on those meetings and it says that they're open and closed. What that means is if you're not an alcoholic, you can go to an open meeting to support someone who is. But the only way to attend a closed meeting is to identify yourself as an alcoholic. And that's just the rules, you know, and it's just a suggestion. They're not rules, they're suggestions, just like it's not a rule that you put on a parachute and jump out of an airplane, but it's a really good suggestion. And, you know, we try to help, and it's the best doctor's visit I've seen, because we only ask that you donate $1 each visit to the coffee and cookie basket. And that's not to pay for the coffees and cookies that you're having at the meeting. That coffee and cookies is already paid for. It's to make sure there will be coffee and cookies for the next alcoholic that comes in the room. But that's a $1 a day doctor visit. It's a pretty good deal to me. Yeah. Those other places want $25,000 to $70,000 a month. It's a little bit better deal, and it works. And if you know someone that's having a problem with alcoholism, pick up one of those meeting lists and find an open meeting and take them to it. Say, I'm going to take you out to dinner, and go buy them dinner, and then take them to a meeting. You know, trick them a little bit. We do that sometimes. It works, believe me. people to go places for a meal. And, yeah, just help us try to help the world. That's all I got. Thank you.
Don't get frightened. The sheriff's office is here. I'm happy now to welcome Brooke Holden of the Horry County Sheriff's Office. She looks like no sheriff I've ever seen.
We have to offer today are fingerprint kits. And there's already been a few little ones that have come through and got their fingerprints. But basically it's a lot different than when we were kids. So from what I can remember, a bunch of black ink on my hands and the ink pad, and then you got your fingerprints, and then your mom or your dad or your grandparents sent them off for you. What we have now is inkless fingerprint kit. And so you take the actual envelope and you keep all of that sensitive information, your children or your grandchildren's fingerprints, their social security number, physical description, and then there's also swabs in there for DNA, for a cheek swab. And so while we may not see as many kids today as we wanted to, what I'd love to do is send some of the kits with you, and through your agencies and your partners, share those kits, because that's really what it's all about, is community. And then also with the Sheriff's Office, we offer quite a bit of different services, as you can imagine, mainly related to law enforcement, but many other outreach opportunities, especially in the month of October, which is kind of due in part to the confusion that we mentioned earlier. So we have quite a bit of trunk or treat events, church, faith-based related events, and a lot of just going out to the schools, reaching the children. They are our future, and so it's important to us and to our office to make sure that we spend a lot of time with them. And so, of course, if you have any other questions, just let us know. My card is on the table, and I'll be happy to share it with all of you, so that if there's ever anything at all that we can do for you, or maybe it may not be a service that we can provide, but we may be able to point you in the right direction, we would love to do that. So thank you for today, and again, if you need anything, let me know. Take care.
Notice that we have a diversity of providers here. It's because when we put this together, we wanted only one provider from each different kind of organization. And if we had more room, we would have had many, many more represented. So it was a sort of eclectic approach. And in keeping with eclecticism, I'm going to invite Corey Green to come on up. He is with the Neighbor to Neighbor program, a wonderful program that I personally know for many, many years, and provides a vitally important service.
Good morning, or afternoon now, everyone. My name is Corey Green. I'm the volunteer coordinator with Neighbor to Neighbor. It's what I've discovered over the recent week. It's a kind of forgotten nonprofit in the area. What we do is provide rides for homebound adults. Adults that are at home and can't drive due to a disability or just aging and not wanting to drive in the traffic. We have several riders that do drive to their grocery stores, which is just around the corner. However, their doctor's office is a little bit further away, so they have us drive them. We have several that are amputees that we take to vet centers or their doctor's appointments. We have a lot of dialysis patients that we take to their dialysis appointments. We also do grocery shopping. We'll take them to grocery shopping. We'll take them to senior centers. We'll take them just about anywhere. We like to say we take them anywhere except for the liquor store. For obvious reasons. But we do what we can. The reason we do it is adult isolation is a growing problem, not just locally, but nationwide. The average age that adults live is 6 to 10 years longer than it's actually safe for them to drive. So that's 6 to 10 years long that they could potentially be isolated in their house away from the community. The longer they're isolated, the less and less they're inclined to be active in the community, the less inclined they are to go to the senior centers. So just the small steps that we take, getting them out a little bit, having a conversation, it's a little different than a taxi cab. So we try to make friends with them and that sort of thing. And just that little step gets them talking, gets them out a little more, and then they may want to go to a senior center. They may want to be active in a church community or another civic organization, something like that. So, I'm open to share with the HOA or any civic organizations you may be involved with, to share about the services as well as try to get some volunteers. Because I'm a volunteer coordinator, I know our needs. Thank you all again for having me.
Because I wanted to work off of what Corey just said. He was talking about seniors getting out, and I went, that's perfect, because socialization is one of the best things you can do for your brain. So that's why I said, I gotta get up there before I forget that I wanted to say that. Hi everybody, I'm Natalie with the Alzheimer's Association. I'm the program director. I cover 6 counties in the area. And I know a lot of you through work, but I was very excited to know that the fingerprints from the Sheriff's Department, because obviously we deal with a lot of wandering. 6 out of 10 people wander. Right now, in South Carolina, we have 92,000 diagnosed cases of Alzheimer's disease. It's unfortunately, there's more and more people that are getting diagnosed. So we at the Alzheimer's Association, God bless you, we are here to help educate and support our families. We have a 24-hour helpline that people can call 24 hours a day, 365 days a year to ask any question. We don't charge at all for our services. We're very proud that we are the 3rd largest funder of research in the world. We have right now about $165 million out in research projects in 22 countries, which is very exciting. We just launched a brand new app. It's called the Science Hub, and it is a free app that updates people on all the trials and science that are going on. So it's a wonderful thing. We have our Walk to End Alzheimer's next Saturday at Market Commons. I have brochures on what we know about preventing Alzheimer's, brain health, 10 things that we know are good for your brain. Anything that's heart healthy is also brain healthy. So that's an easy thing for people to remember. We also have, we're looking for program volunteers to help out in the community so that we're able to reach more families, because I'm one person and I can't hit everybody. We have, which is very important, I have sheets on getting properly diagnosed with either Alzheimer's or a different related dementia, because that's been a problem all across the country, is people being misdiagnosed. There's a lot of things that cause the same symptoms. I do free education for your church, your neighborhood, whatever the case. And we have brand new newsletters out. In our newsletters, it explains all of our services. It has all the support groups that we offer in the back. And if anybody has any questions, please come ask me. Thank you. Have a good day.
And now, I guess we have the lawyer you may have all heard of if you listen to WRNN,
Yeah.
and who is well known in elder law, Angie Knight of Grand Strand Law Group. Would you like to come on up?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Angie Knight, and I am the owner and managing attorney of Grand Strand Law Group. We are a general practice firm. We mostly focus my practice on estate planning, probate, real estate law, and business law. For purposes of today, we were here specifically to talk about estate planning and probate issues, and to offer our services for wills and trusts. We have a ton of giveaways. Please stop by and take whatever you like. And also, I'm going to be doing our door prizes here in a second, so stick around. It'll be exciting. I've been doing estate planning since I started in the business, and so that's been about 10 years now. And it's been a pleasure to me to be able to offer those services to folks. So often people think, a lot of folks will come up to me at an event like this, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're an attorney. I hope I never have to see you," because they always think about the criminal thing. That's what they think. They think that I'm only doing criminal, but in reality, everybody needs to come see an attorney. You may be buying a house. That's an awesome and wonderful time to see an attorney. Or you may need a will or a trust. And everybody should really have a durable power of attorney, guys. That's kind of my soapbox. Everyone who comes into my office, I ask them if they have one. And these are services that everyone needs. A lot of folks believe that they don't need to come see me for a will or a durable power of attorney until they are older. That's not true. I tell all my young clients too, if you've got kids, we need to appoint a guardian and conservator for your small children. So, everybody needs these items. And so please tell your friends, your family, ask them if they've got a will, because you know what, you're showing that you care about them, because without a will or a durable power of attorney in place, you're not going to be able to do what you need to do to help them when they need your help. So please, please, please talk to everyone, your friends and family, about whether or not they have those things in place.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce not only somebody that I know is a great professional, but is a great friend, Tom Podersky of Pruitt Health and Hospice. I've known the man for long, boy, we are getting old, aren't we? Okay, good.
Yeah, so Dennis is right. He and I have. Can you guys hear me without this? I feel like I'm at the comedy store. No, you need it? All right.
Tell us a joke.
I'm not too good at those. Dennis is right. He and I have known each other forever, way back when I worked for Mercy Care. Dennis was my easy button. Dennis is the man that knows everything and everybody, it seems like. And anyway, he's right. We are getting old. We're all getting old, so that's kind of what I do. With Pruitt Health, we do a multitude of things. We do home health, which home health is usually somebody that's been discharged from the hospital that may have had some surgery, hip replacement, knee replacement, etc. Most of the patients that we see at home are 6 to 8 weeks. Medicare, Medicaid does pay for it. A nurse comes out. We do occupational therapy, speech therapy, all the different therapies. So that's what that entails. We also own Kingston Nursing Center. We bought that this past October. That's, I believe, 86 beds. So there's a multitude of reasons someone may go there. It is not completely full right now. So if you know anybody that needs a bed in a facility like that, a skilled nursing facility, let us know. Unfortunately, there's no Medicare or Medicaid beds there. They're hard to come by. And then lastly, along the spectrum, we do hospice care, which Dennis and I worked with a number of years. Hospice care, as most of you know, is 6 months or less to live. Most of our patients either have some kind of chronic heart failure, cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia, some of those memory-related diseases. Not so much AIDS anymore. We rarely ever see those. There's certainly medications that cure that, and not many children. Children usually go to a teaching hospital and don't get put on hospice. Most of our patients, as you can imagine, are 75 plus years of age. Unfortunately, the average stay in hospice is not what we would want. We would hope for 6 months, but the average stay in hospice is literally only, and Dennis knows this, about 2 weeks or less. So what happens is the medical profession has a tendency not to want to refer a patient to us for obvious reasons, because as soon as someone is referred to hospice, their primary physician is usually not in the equation anymore, and the physician of choice for us is our medical director. And the other criteria is you have to give up all life-saving measures to be placed on hospice, unfortunately. We do not offer palliative care. Palliative care is 2 years or less to live, but hospice being what it is, most people die within 2 weeks, unfortunately, but not because the disease is that fatal. It's just because they weren't referred early enough. So my mission is always to get people referred earlier so they have that quality of time near the end that makes the loved one's transition much easier for that person that's dying. Anyway, that's about it. I thank you. I thank Dennis for allowing me to be the only hospice. I'm honored by that. So I appreciate it, Dennis. Thank you.
This is the first time I've had the pleasure of meeting this gentleman, Captain Dwight Tomlin of the Horry County Police Department. Captain, would you like to come over here? He has an extremely important program he's involved with.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
I have to correct you a little bit. I'm not a captain yet. I'm a corporal. CPO, it's not CPT. Anyway, I thank you guys for having me here today. And just hearing and seeing everyone that's here, I think we all play an important role in this community. So I'm thankful to be a part of this today, and hopefully we can build off of this. And I was talking to someone earlier, you know, it may not seem like a lot of people come through, but if we just reach one or two people, we've done our job for today. So I'm thankful for that. Again, my name is Corporal Dwight Tomlin. Been in law enforcement for about 29 years. Retired from Virginia Beach in 2010. Had an extensive law enforcement career. I'm not here on soapbox for that, but I say that because I'm passionate about the job I do. I'm a community person. I love dealing with people every day. And even some of these different entities here I've been involved with, referring other people to those resources. And I think that's important. If you don't have the resource, the most important thing is knowing where to refer people to. And I think that's where a lot of agencies fail, because they're not familiar with the different resources that are available to those that are in need. So I'm thankful that we are doing this, and I think it's very useful and helpful for the future. And hopefully we can build, like I said, we can build off this and set the foundation for us to go on beyond this, and maybe we'll have a bigger outcome next time, or bigger magnitude of people. One of the things is, as the county police, we're unique here because we have a county police and we have a county sheriff. So we kind of work hand in hand. They're in a different area, but we all for the same fight. They deal with warrants in the jail. We deal with, and they deal with fugitives, we deal with criminal side. So if you call, you live out in a rural area, you're gonna deal with the county police, which we deal with domestics, drugs, whatever, assaults, whatever the need may be, we deal with it. One of the things I want to promote today is being aware of your surroundings in your community. When something's going on in your community that you're not, if you got to think about it, and you got to ask yourself the question, is it right, it's probably wrong. It's probably something you need to call the police about. It's not something you need to go out and try to investigate on your own. 911 is free. We're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you're only selling yourself short by not calling the police and let us deal with it in the beginning, rather than trying to get yourself involved and wind up a casualty of circumstance. So I really encourage each and every one of you today is pay attention in your community. If it's something that you're not used to seeing, you haven't seen it before, it probably shouldn't be there. So please call us and let us come out and do what we do, and that's protect and serve you. One of the other things that we also provide, the Alzheimer's and dementia section, we are an affiliate of Project Lifesaver. So one of the things, if anyone comes in the community and they have a patient or a family member that has some type of disease or some type of ailment, where it's Alzheimer's or dementia, they can call us and we will provide the bracelets for them. Even if you live here, we'll provide the bracelet for you. And we do have a tracking system that we do have those in each precinct. We have 4 precincts. We have Central Precinct, which covers the Conway area. We have the North Precinct, which is up in Little River behind the DMV by Bell and Bell. We have the South Precinct, which is down in Socastee area, Garden City area, and we have the West Precinct, which is out in Greensea. So we are well versed throughout the county, which we're one of the biggest counties this side of the Mississippi. It's about 1,300 square miles, so we do have a lot of area to cover. But we do serve our community, and that's what we're here for. So whatever your need is, you can call that non-emergency number, which I have cards here, 843-248-1520, which will give you the central dispatch. And whatever area you live in, if you need help, they will get you to that right dispatcher and get your officer out to you. One of the things that we're seeing a lot of now is the phone scams. So if you have family members or anyone that gets those phone scams, they need to call us right away so we can get you the right information to get that stuff tracked. So we can get a report out there and figure out where these things are going. And I try to tell people, don't wait. I said it earlier, and I'll drive this nail home. If someone calls you and it doesn't seem right, it's probably not right. I promise you, if you got to ask yourself the question, it's probably not something that's gonna end well. So you need to really pay attention to that and understand that if someone calls you asking you your personal information, it's probably not a good thing. You probably need to hang the phone up and call the police or call somebody that you know that is not concerned. That's not something you need to be involved with to give your information. Any healthcare facility, they don't call and ask you your information. If someone calls you telling you to turn your power off tomorrow, you got to go buy a green dot card. That should be your first key. A clue that that's not something you need to be involved with. Do not give out your credit card information or any of that stuff over the phone, online. If someone's calling you asking you that, you probably should be doing it, because that's not how they operate. If someone calling you telling you missed jury duty, you need to pay this, you're gonna get locked up, that's not how that operates either. So you need to pay attention and understand if someone calls you with those type of issues, you need to call the police and let us deal with it. That's not something you need to get involved in. It's not anything you need to give your date of birth, your social, phone number, any of that stuff, your credit card information. You shouldn't be doing that. Call us, let us deal with it. All right? One of the other things that I am involved in, I'm a community person, so we are in the business now of teaching the civilian active shooter program, which we go out to churches, we go to businesses, we go to neighborhoods, wherever. And we do provide that training for you. It's about an hour and a half, 2-hour session where we have a PowerPoint presentation that tells you what's going on throughout the nation, what's going on in your community, certain safety issues you need to look out for. If you're out shopping, if you're out driving, it just gives you it's eye openers to let you know what's going on in your community and what you need to know to stay alive. You know, it's not one of those things where you need to guess and wonder what you need to do. These are things to train you to get home safely. Okay? And I know some of you guys asked about the concealed weapons permit class or whatever. That program is active. You go on the SLADE website, you can type in concealed weapons permit, and they'll give you any training facilities that are available in your area. And that's something that if you're interested in, you need to get it done the right way. You know, if there's any issues you have, you go to the SLADE website, you call the police department, and there's an officer that will come to you and explain to you what goes on. And like I told some of the gentlemen here earlier, whatever you guys are having, if you want to call us, we will have somebody out to this type of meeting, a venue, and we'll have somebody there for information. I have cards available. You can call me or send me a text message or email, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. My job is to educate the community and let you know what's going on in your community. You deserve that, and you need to know that stuff to keep you and your family safe. We believe just like you do. You should be able to be in your household, be in your vehicle, be in a store, and be safe. We believe that. And I'm telling you now, we're only a phone call away. If you don't do that, you're selling yourself short. So any type of training or questions you guys have, I have cards here. You go on our website, you call the dispatch number and get in contact with me or any other officer, and we'll be more than happy to come out and explain to you. I'll give whatever training or whatever answer any questions that you have. All right, thank you for your time. Look forward to seeing you in the future.
Corporal Tomlin reminds me that there's a warrant out for my arrest. It's true. I got a call about a week ago. IRS. I failed to respond. There was a warrant out for my arrest, but they could patch me through to somebody who could fix it. And that's just one of the, 1,000 scams that are going. Believe me, they were pretty convincing. If I didn't know the IRS didn't work that way, never works that way, then who knows what might have happened. We're going to skip over Rhett Sensbury for now because he'll be back. And it's my honor to introduce Philip Kylan with Coastal Samaritan Counseling Center, which is a phenomenal organization that I've known about for the 15 years I've been here. And my wife has yet to refer me.
I'm Philip Kylan from Coastal Samaritan Counseling Center. I'm the executive director, and I want to thank our board member, Francis Curry, for encouraging us to come here today to participate with you in this expo. I heard today on the radio about this, how they select a Navy SEAL for training. They start off with 175 candidates that have been predetermined, and after they go through all the testing, the physical part of it, etc., it comes down to 35. Then after that 35, the final 7 make it. And they say that it's not the physical part that eliminates people from the 175, because basically all the candidates have the physical skills to do what the SEALs do. It's the mental health aspect of the SEAL that needs to be 100% perfect to the extent that they can handle the stresses and the anxiety and the depression and the thoughts of suicide so that they can do their job. Now, What we do at Coastal Samaritan, obviously we don't counsel SEALs, but what we do is we counsel the everyday person. Because every person in here today has a mental health connection. You can't get away from it. The corporal talked about resources. Each and every one of you is a major resource in the community, in your family. And it only makes sense that you keep your mental wellness as tuned up as possible. We are the general practitioners of the everyday cold that you experience in the physical world, or the headache, or the migraine, or the backache. Because if you experience any of these, you would go to a doctor or a chiropractor or to a dentist without a second thought. But because of the stigma surrounding mental health in itself, people do not talk about, and I'll read you some, life transitions, marriage and family conflict, post-traumatic stress, parenting issues, grief and loss, depression, addictions, relationships, anxiety, aging. These are just a few of the everyday issues that we all have a tendency to go through, and especially with our caregivers taking care of spouses who may have Alzheimer's or dementia or some type of disability. There is a world of everyday issues out there that we can help you with. So we ask you to take advantage. The percentages are on our exhibit board of how many people have this issue, how many people have that issue. It comes down to common sense. If you feel overwhelmed and you feel depressed, you feel anxiety coming on, don't wait for a common cold to turn into a major issue. Come see us. We accept everybody. We turn no one away for finances. We have a sliding scale. We have our main office in Myrtle Beach in the First United Church campus, and we have 5 other satellite offices throughout the county. We have 10 professionally certified therapists and hoping to add more. We have a volunteer board that not only governs the agency, but looks to the future as to what we should be doing in the next 5 to 10 years. And one of the things we're going to be introducing, if we get the funding, which I think we will, are 2 major programs. One will be the telemed program for the homebound, that will be doing video therapy from the agency to the home. And the other one is a school assessment program, where we'll go into the school systems and do an assessment of the children to see which ones are heading for trouble. Then we will contact their parents and offer to stay with them for 90 days in order to help correct the child's problem if the child is having one. We just finished opening up a satellite office in St. Peter's Lutheran Church in Pawleys Island, the Litchfield section, because of the rash of teenage suicides that have taken place in that community in the past couple of months. Our kids are in danger. We have to pay attention and listen to them. This is the weapon of choice to destroy their social and to destroy their minds. They got to get away from this. Okay, we all use them. I'm not saying that we shouldn't use them, but when you see a child and a parent at the dinner table working their telephones, there is no socialization going on. Somebody is heading for problems. So we thank you very much for letting us come here today, and I want to thank that rather small individual, the police officer who left for his service. So thank you very much.
It happens to all of us eventually. We die. And making sure that you have plans in place for that before you die is probably a good idea, as Mr. Jeff Wallace of Goldfinch Funeral Home is going to explain.
I guess it's appropriate I go last in business. And good golly, good pizza, by the way. Whoever made the call on the pizza, that's a very good. I need to get that, whoever got it from.
Right down.
Right down here. So my name is Jeff Wallace. I'm a funeral director at Goldfinch Funeral Home. Amber Martin is with me. She's our administrative specialist. Been a funeral director probably going around 23, 24 years. I've been specializing in the last probably 10, 12 years in pre-arranging services, helping folks do their funeral arrangements basically ahead of time. A lot of people ask me, well, tell me some of the benefits of pre-arranging your funeral ahead of time. The one thing I always tell people is you're alleviating that stress from your family members having to walk to the funeral home the worst day of their life. And let's be honest, I can't think of another day that's worse than losing a loved one and having to sit in the funeral home for 2, 3, possibly 4 hours trying to make decisions and hoping that you're doing the right thing and hoping someone will reassure you that you're doing the right thing, because unfortunately the person that you're talking about is no longer with us. You'd be surprised how many families come in and you think they have it all together, but unfortunately they don't, and they can't decide on anything. And as tough as our job we want to help folks as much as we possibly can, we also need a little information from the families. Goldfinch Funeral Home, I'm sure you guys are pretty familiar with our firm. We've been around over 100 years. We're still family owned. We've got 5 locations now. We just opened a brand new one up in Carolina Forest, so we can start serving that community as well. And we really want people to, I always tell people this, I want people to walk through our doors informed and have an information background to them. I don't want them to come into our place uninformed, unprepared. I'm sure we've had to help our parents before, maybe someone who's lost a parent, maybe someone who's lost a spouse, things like that. I always tell people this, it costs nothing, and I repeat, it costs nothing to write things down. Nothing. Please come see me, get a card from me. I can get you the information that you may need to write things down. It also costs nothing to tell your loved one or your spouse or your parents or your child, whoever it is, what you would like to do if something were to happen to you. The 2 biggest questions that we hear around the arrangement table when we're helping a family is they were saying to themselves, are we doing the right thing? Is this what he or she would have wanted? And let's be honest, no one likes going to a funeral home. When the lady from the lawyer said, no one wants to see us, trust me, nobody wants to see us. So if we can make that a little, and we use the word positive grieving experience, if we can make the grieving experience a little bit more positive, it really can help the families. Now, will pre-arranging take away that hurt that families have for losing a loved one? Absolutely not. But if we can alleviate a little bit of that stress off the family by making some of those simple decisions, it really does help a lot. A lot of questions people ask me, well, can you pay for a funeral in advance? Absolutely. The state of South Carolina allows you to do that. Once again, not only are you alleviating that burden and that stress, but you're also taking away that financial decision. We don't like families to come into our funeral home and try to make a financial decision on the worst time of their life. We call that emotionally overspending, and we try our best to eliminate that. Because we understand that when folks come in, they love their mom, they love their dad to death. But are they really picking out the things that they really would want? Or they feel a little guilty about something, so they go overboard. I always say, grieve the person, don't grieve the funeral bill. Because we don't want folks leaving and then when they get home 3 weeks later, why did we do all that? Mom was just such a simple person. Why did we go overboard? Well, by having a few conversations with your family and things like that, you can obviously alleviate some of that. Sometimes think about this, 2 biggest questions. Do you want to be buried? Do you want to be cremated? If you want to be cremated, where do you want to have a memorial service? Do you not? Where do you want the remains to go? Do you have a special place? Things like that. You'd be surprised how many folks I meet with. I'll give you a small little story. I met with a lady once, and she says, what can I do with some of the cremated remains I have? And I said, well, how many do you have? She goes, well, come here and let me show you. And she basically had a cemetery in her closet. She had 67 urns in her closet. They were her parents, her brother, her sister, an aunt, an uncle. She had nowhere to go with them. She didn't know what to do with them. And she was just collecting more and more and more. I always, it happens. She didn't know what to do because no one in the family had ever directed her on what to do, where to go with them, things like that. So we can plan funerals all the way from A to Z. I sit down with folks and we take the information down. We figure out exactly what you want to do. So when that day comes around and your family has to walk into our door, we know exactly what we're doing. We know exactly where the funeral is going to be. We know exactly what's going to happen. it's one of those things I tell people, you won't see it today. When you come in, you meet with me, and people will leave and they get maybe a pen and a folder. They can't see it today, but it is such a great gift to give the people left behind, your loved ones. It is an extremely great gift. Like I say, you won't see it today, they won't see it tomorrow, but I've never had a child come into the funeral home and say, "Ugh, I wish Mom and Dad would have left this for me to do all of it. I want to do all this myself." Absolutely not. They're glad it's been done. So come by our booth. We do have swag. You can't go wrong with a little funeral home swag. Come on, a little bit. Got a card over here. Come by, ask me any questions that you may have. Anything I can possibly help you with, we're glad to do. So please come by, check it out. We've got a couple of cool things. We got a couple of little small urns over here. So just stop by if you'd like. But once again, thank you for having us. I know sometimes the funeral home can be the booth to stay away from. But once again, thank you for having us.
Jeff was not entirely correct. He is not the last speaker. I get to be the last speaker. And I think it's important because all of us have to think about the larger picture, the universe, and our place in it. The organization sponsoring this is Avatar Mayor Baba's Circle of Friends. We are aspirants who strive to remember Mayor Baba through love, fellowship, and service to one and all. And this Circle Center serves both as a community center for the 400 so people who follow Mayor Baba in the area, as well as a public outreach center. This particular event would come under the heading of public outreach. If there were more public here, it would be better outreach, but nonetheless, we do the best we can all the time. So the question you might ask is, who is Mayor Baba? I have some literature. It's not really very impressive. There's one little pamphlet which will tell you a great deal that you need to know. But I want to say a few things right now to leave you with the proper impression. Mayor Baba never displaced anyone's beliefs in their particular religion, nor if they had no religion. In fact, when you consult him, you find some very interesting things. And I'm going to read from one of my favorite of all of his writings on how to love God. I have put this on Facebook. I have sent this through the internet. I have yet to have a troll come back and say, "No, this is terrible stuff." And it's because I believe when you hear it, it will strike a chord in you as what you know to be intrinsically true in whatever tradition or lack of tradition you follow. So let's do it. How to Love God by Mayor Baba. To love God in the most practical way is to love our fellow beings. If we feel for others in the same way as we feel for our own dear ones, we love God. If instead of seeing faults in others, we look within ourselves, we are loving God. If instead of robbing others to help ourselves, we rob ourselves to help others, we are loving God. If we suffer in the suffering of others and feel happy in the happiness of others, we are loving God. If instead of worrying over our own misfortunes, we think of ourselves more fortunate than many, many others, we are loving God. If we endure our lot with patience and contentment, accepting it as His will, we are loving God. If we understand and feel that the greatest act of devotion and worship to God is not to hurt or harm any of His beings, we are loving God. To love God as He ought to be loved, we must live for God and die for God, knowing that the goal of life is to love God and find Him in our own self. Thank you so much for coming.